y'all. My name is Shayna Jane, a certified sobriety health and wellness coach with 14 years of experience in the treatment industry and also my own history with substance abuse. As the founder and CEO of Controlled Chaos, I've made it my mission to provide a supportive community for those facing alcoholism and addiction. This podcast is a real, no-nonsense exploration of life in sobriety. No sugarcoating, just real, honest conversations. Life after addiction can be a crazy, wild ride, and here at Controlled Chaos, we're here to tackle it head on. From navigating relationships to finding purpose, we're your lifeline in chaos. Let's dive into the real challenges of sobriety and carve out our path together. I love y'all mucho. Let's go.
Cara, it says you're unable to join, but I see you on here. Guys, I'm just here drinking my happy juice.
You got your juice on. Hi.
Hey.
Okay, I have
Hey girl, how are you?
I'm good. How are you? This phone thing is tricky.
It is. Isn't it weird that you can't go live from your computer?
So frustrating. Okay, let's see. I've surrounded myself with potted plants to like be my basis to hold this up. Special.
All right. We'll give you a sec to get it together, girl.
Okay.
That's what I was doing. I was like, oh, my phone is so awkward. And hey, Naomi, how are you? We got Danielle. Hey, guys.
I have family. I have family on here. Can I give a little shout out? Hi, Jean.
Yeah, girl, do it.
Hi, Aunt Beryl.
Oh, that's so cute. I'm going to turn this up so I can hear better. All right, there we go. All right, guys, I do have my dogs here, so if they bark, then I'm sorry. They're just part of the house. I don't know what to tell you. They're kind of assholes, too. All right, so, Cara, you want to introduce yourself? You could probably do it better than me.
Sure. I'm Cara Levinson. I'm a wellness chef. I've been working with companies on healthy eating foods and started off with My Fit Foods. I went on to Whole Foods and worked with their Health Starts Here program. And then afterwards, I moved on to Origins Recovery Center, which is where I learned a lot about recovery. And the team there taught me a lot about recovery. And so since then, I've started a family, had 2 little boys, and kind of exited the work zone for the most part. Now I'm doing a little bit of consulting with people who have special needs, special diets, trying to sort of bridge the gap between a chef and a nutritionist where, you know, let's see, someone gets like a diagnosis of something that seems unachievable. Just kind of help people understand how to make some swaps, make some changes, and just follow the diet and have fun. You know, enjoy cooking, not make it burdensome. We're all dealing with enough in our lives to not have one more thing.
Right. So Origins, that's kind of like how we met each other, right? Mm-hmm. Was through Origins, and I think you were working as a chef there then. But so I am in sobriety. I was getting for like the better part of 2 decades, but finally got it together, and I've been sober now for 3 years.
That's awesome.
Right, which is like amazing for me because I always throw a little gap in there somewhere, right? And I'm finally starting to feel like I got my bearings and like I'm actually okay, right? Like I could do this sober thing for life, right? Mm-hmm. So I don't know where you stand, if you're in sobriety, not in sobriety.
I haven't had anything to drink since April, which has been a very interesting year, teaching me about, I think my new motto is like break down, you know, start simple. And it's amazing how much that a little bit of clean eating along with, you know, taking alcohol out of my diet, along with taking some stressors out, have just really humbled me, but also helped me build myself back up to the person that I admire, which I haven't said in quite some time. So
I love that. Yeah. I love that for you. I think it's funny because, you know, working in a drug treatment center, and not just that specific center, but anywhere, right? Mm-hmm. There's kind of like this, I don't want to call it keeping up with the Jones, right? But like, if you're not perfect, then everybody's looking at you and everybody knows, right? And it feels like you have to do this thing that's like inauthentic, right? Like sometimes like your true self. So I think even though I loved working in treatment, I really did have to take a break for a second, because I was like, I need to like get myself together and not worry about like what other people are thinking of me, right? Like,
right.
So actually, this last time that I worked on getting sober, this last time, I actually completely was like, I'm not counting the date. I'm not looking at the date. I don't care if it's been a day. I don't care if it's been 60. I don't know what month it is. I don't give a fuck, right?
I totally agree.
Because I had to like take the pressure off of myself,
Sure.
because then when I messed up, it's like it could have been 3 years and you mess up one day, and it's like, so none of that counts. Like, and then it makes you, makes you feel even worse. So,
spiral for sure. Yeah, I've seen that, and you let yourself sometimes go deeper because you don't want to face that moment of having to look someone eye to eye and say, I messed up. And I think that takes away from it. Just get on your horse and keep going.
Right, and two, like just if something does happen in your sobriety at all, it doesn't take away from anything in your life. Like, we're all people. It doesn't take away from your sobriety or who you are. Like, all that time still matters, right? It's like,
absolutely.
Get back on. So when I started this sober coaching thing online, which it's super new in the last month, I actually had to like, when the hell did I get sober? And it's been almost 3 years, so I was excited. Okay. So back into this food thing. So I want to ask you, as a chef, how do you think that nutrition plays into like sobriety and obviously like how you feel?
That's a big question that I had to learn a lot about as far as taking the position as a wellness chef, because I've dealt with, cooking for different patients and cancer patients. And I had to do a lot of research on what living a malnutritioned, chemical dependent kind of lifestyle can do to you. And there's a lot of things. The good news is the body is so amazing. It loves fighting back. So there's a lot of times when you're coming out of, a time of use, whether it's a slow use over lots of years or it's just hardcore for a short amount of time, you're putting some damage in there. And a lot of the things have been able to be acute, which is amazing. Acute pancreatitis, meaning that you just have it because of the situation that you're in. It's not a chronic thing that you're going to have to go back to. The study of macrobiotics really touches on teaching you to cook toxin free and kind of giving your body a chance to build itself back up. It's a hard diet to follow, and nobody nobody in recovery wanted to hear me talk about all the healthy things, because your body is just like, I haven't eaten, I want a Pop-Tart, and I want cheese on my Pop-Tart. And so there's a need for that for a minute, because, maybe your body is just needing calories if you haven't had sufficient calories in a while. But once you kind of get past maybe the detox phase and start really trying to take care of your body, building things back up with food, amen, love, food is medicine, yes. Building things back up with food as opposed to supplements and, taking handfuls of pills is amazing. That was one of the things I was more proud about at Origins, was the doctors told me that after changing over to my diet, the patients were taking less medicine. So,
So can you tell me a little bit, I'm not even going to butcher that word on live. Can you tell me a little bit about what that actually is?
Macrobiotic. Yeah, and our diet was not macrobiotic because there's so many different needs at one center. It's about feeding the masses. Macrobiotic is a lot of cooking without any toxins. It's for people who are really broken down and kind of have to build up. It's very basic, no nightshade vegetables. They don't even cook with a lot of salt and ginger. I think I did my lighting wrong. Let's see. That's more plant-based. It's just a very clean diet. For somebody who's really broken down, we boil rice and put it through a sieve so that they could just get something to intake. On that basis and add to it, then your palate is just, it's amazing. Like the things that you can add, it just gets bigger and better. If you can cook with, don't tell anyone in macrobiotics I said this, but if you can cook with dirt, you can add a steak on top of it and it's going to be even more amazing, right? So it's cooking with the very basics and just kind of keeping everything cleansed and alkalized.
Okay. So Western medicine, all diseases begin in the gut. So we have been hearing a lot of stuff about like gut health and stuff like that. Like, what is your take on all of that?
Gut health is huge. Gut health is extremely important. I do think it's what is the word? It's like a hot topic, you know, that's kind of been shoved around.
Yeah, like people are using it to sell a lot of things right now.
The word for it, I can't remember. Anyway, it's like one of the hot buzzwords. It's a buzzword right now.
There you go.
So people are coming up with all sorts of ways to take this pill, take this drink, you know, do that. True gut health is going to be the process of just kind of cleaning it out, getting that started. You can do things as natural as eating fermented foods. I'm a big fan of probiotics and prebiotics in the right form. And then also thinking of just fibrous foods, you know, they're nature's little Roombas. They get in here and dust some stuff.
What kind of foods?
Nature's little Roombas.
No, what is it before that? What kind of foods?
High fiber foods, asparagus, green beans, those sorts of things, you know, they're meant to kind of cleanse out. Yeah. I'd be very careful. Go ahead.
Didn't you tell me something about like asparagus and things like that? Actually, like they're freebies and they help clean out your system.
Right. That's why I was calling them Roombas. They go in and vacuum. They just, you know, take it all with them. But they're kind of a freebie vegetable. You know, it's as long as you're cooking the real ones, you're not eating a can of green beans. But the natural fibers, they keep you full. They get a lot of things out. I would just, because it's a buzzword, I would be very careful to buying products that talk about gut health. I think it's always most important to talk to a specialist doctor about that. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of, you know, natural flora that's going on in there that you don't want to mess too much with. You don't want to buy an over-the-counter something, you know, something that offers a promise that you don't know if it can deliver.
Does like looking at, you know, when it says like clinically tested and stuff like that, does that stuff matter? Like, does that make it better?
So
he's like, I don't know. I don't want to answer that.
And here's the thing. I'm quite skeptical. A lot of times I like to think of it as, what does your body really need? Like if you're out in the wild, what does your body really need, right? So we need water and substance. We need fuel to keep going. We need water. If you've ever been super dehydrated, you know that you don't want to like stop and pour your Sparks into a cup and shake it. Like you want water. Okay. You hit that point. I think I really prefer to get as much out of food as possible. And I consider some of those things treats, but, you know, clinically tested, most of them still
all about the natural, holistic path.
I think that really is more of what is going to get you to where you want to be. I think if you're following a diet, probably the healthiest diet to follow would be like a diabetic diet, because they really watch the intakes of like natural sweeteners and the glycemic level. I think that one's great. But I stay away from the buzzword things, you know, because it's keto one day and then it's, you know, and people follow them, and there's good things about all of them. You have to ask yourself, you know, one is am I taking a product that somebody wants me to sell later? Is it an MLM? And then what are some of the ingredients that they're not talking about is always a very important one. Like, what are they, you know, they're always very eager to tell you, oh, it's got this, this, this. And then if you look at the extra added ingredients, half the time it's not stuff.
You do that in your food, but sometimes we don't do that with like our supplements and things like that. You don't think what's in there, right?
Right.
You're just like, oh, vitamin B, that's it, right? But it's 500 other.
Yeah, and some people break it down differently. That's why it's always best to talk to someone, kind of get some blood levels and some, you know, because I personally need vitamin B broken down. I can't take vitamin B by itself. I have to take vitamin B12, B6, like certain ones. Mm-hmm. But I know that because of blood testing and whatnot. it's nice to have that professional side of it. And I have a healthy dose of skepticism for multi-level marketing. Sorry.
Understood. No, understood. It's funny because I just started doing the happy juice or whatever. I started like 3 weeks ago. But the thing is it took me so long to buy. I have a friend who does it, and it took me so long, if I'm being honest, to buy it because I'm from like the Beachbody generation where all my friends were stalking me to buy Beachbody, and then you spend $200 and you sit on your ass and watch. What is the hottie guy that did the dances?
Oh my God. I know what you're talking about, but yeah, I bought some too.
Yeah. I had like the little shakes and all that, but listen, it didn't do anything for me, and I spent a lot of money on it. So I was very skeptical, and this is something new for me. So I won't put you on the spot, make you feel bad about that.
Have you noticed that I've been delicately skirting that in our conversations? I don't know. I don't want to say anything that I would have to go back on, but I'm just, anybody who wants you to sell, I have a healthy dose of skepticism. However, if it makes you feel good, check it out. Have your doctor check it out. If it makes you feel good, then go for it. There's always the placebo effect too. Maybe it's pink and pretty and you like it.
Okay, so as far as like meal prepping, things like that, what are some things that you recommend in order to like, not even necessarily like meal prepping, but like what can you do that's like quick and easy to help yourself not eat nasty stuff all the time because you're just in a hurry? Like, what are your go-to tricks?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked me this. So we talked about it a little bit pre-show, and then it's funny because I had to run in my car to get to run an errand real quick, and I found my backpack has protein bars, my car has almonds. I think a lot of times when you hit that point of extreme hunger, having something that's ready to go is the best life hack in the world. Find your favorite snack and have it just. Making your own trail mix is one of the good things because everybody puts something in trail mix that I hate, like raisins.
That is so true. You have to pick through the trail mix, right?
Make your own, throw it in some Tupperware, have it in the car. That gets me out of more trouble, so I'm not stopping and getting something fast and easy. I think, as far as food prepping, it's hard to say because everybody has different needs, right? So some of the easy things that you can do are to get like an instant cooker and do some rice on the weekend and a batch of quinoa. A general rule of thumb for depending on how many times a day you eat would be eating 3 ounces of protein for women, about 5 for men. If you want to cut up some proteins like that and have them ready to go, if you like to cook, you could start pre-slicing your vegetables. So when you look in your fridge, you're not looking at like, well, I have to thaw out this and make this, you start seeing solutions and that's so helpful. One of the snacks we were talking about, liking fruit, berries, just for the record, are the lowest in sugar. So those are always a good way to go. I personally love apples and peanut butter. It's one of my favorites. So I love having apples like ready to go in little peanut butter cups. Anybody who knows me, actually, I don't even use the cups anymore. I have peanut butter in the cup holder of my car, almond butter, one of the two at all times.
I think it's funny because you were saying before we got on here about like having food in your car, having food by your bed. And I was like, I've never done anything like that. But by the time I am hungry, I'm hungry. And like, it might be, I don't like McDonald's, right? So it's not going to be McDonald's, but it's not going to be good for me, right? Like it might be, you never know.
Right.
But, so I think that's funny because it's something we don't really like think of. But if you have healthier stuff there, like, we bought the little packets of like vegetables and stuff and like a thing of oranges this week, and I was like, okay, this is what like adults do, I guess, because here I am eating a little healthier because it's like pre-packaged ready for me, right? Normally I don't eat like that. I try to watch what I eat, like when I'm cooking or whatever, I'll like make switches. But as far as like I'm just hungry and I'm grabbing something, I really have a hard time with that because I'm not prepared.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's nice to know that everywhere you turn around, especially as a mom, because what do your kids kids want, like the opposite of what we want. And it's very easy to be like, these are Welch's fruit snacks. So like I could have that, but it's not anything for your progress and your goals. I love, having fresh fruit, and it's pretty to look at, to be perfectly honest, on a very shallow level, like opening up your fridge and seeing like, here's blueberries, here's fruit. You go as far as get the little containers and throw some berries and some strawberries in there and your favorites, and they're just sitting there ready for you to just grab one and go. You're way more likely to make the better choice there. And I do keep them by my bed. That was a pregnancy secret. I didn't find myself eating in the middle of the night, but then like once the babies were started rolling around and telling me what they needed, I was a lot happier to just grab like a bag of rice.
You have the pregnancy cravings.
Yeah. Well, versus what I think I told you earlier too, is like if I'm getting up and going to the kitchen, I'm going to get a piece of cheese and I'm going to melt it in the microwave and I'm going to eat it with a fork. Or I could perhaps just have a couple of gluten-free crackers by the bed. I think that's
cheese is like one of my favorite things.
Yeah, absolutely. And I got a bag of what we were talking about a little bit earlier, the nutritional yeast.
Oh yeah.
So one of the things we were also talking about is I'll use my Julia Child quote because I told you that I probably would, but it's everything in moderation, including moderation, meaning, have some of the good stuff, have some of your favorites, but if there's ways to substitute or to swap, absolutely, make sure that your plate is something that you enjoy eating. This is a vegetarian use for cheese. Like cheese sauces, you won't find a cheese queso that's not made with nutritional yeast.
Somebody said we fine.
Oh,
Thank you for stopping by. Have a good day. Whoever it was.
Well, so this is what you'll find in like a lot of cheese substitutes. So we were talking, you know what? Let's go to your homework. Can we do that?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I told her that we were gonna do some meal prepping, like your favorite meals, but how to make them a little bit healthier. So one thing that I came up with is hey back, hi. One thing that I came up with was chicken Alfredo because that's my shit.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and then we'll see if you have another one under your belt. I told you could surprise me. I'll be fine with that. But so my big question is, when it comes down to chicken Alfredo, I think the protein, the sauce, and the noodle, which one of those is like your favorite?
Well, I'm really a sauce girl, but what if I like the noodles too? But what if only the chicken is not the...
You know what? The part of like doing the consulting and stuff is building that trusting relationship where when I start substituting foods out, I usually have to prove myself first and then I can start getting you to follow me a little more. One of the easiest things for noodles is doing half and half. So I love the zucchini noodles with a regular noodle or a higher protein noodle. I would be aware of, we talked about this, switching to corn or potato noodles. That's an equal trade basically for the gluten ones, but like a rice noodle or your regular old pasta, mixing half and half with the zucchini. Mm-hmm. And then you've got enough noodle, and the zucchini just adds crunch. To be perfectly honest, I don't love zucchinis, but I can eat them because they just sort of sop in the sauce and keep enough flavor there. Right. You can buy spiralized ones at a lot of grocery stores, or you can buy yourself a spiralizer, which has like this really fun crank. You can get your kids to do it because it feels like you're making Play-Doh something, like Play-Doh spaghetti is coming out. Right. And they're not expensive. You can spiralize all sorts of vegetables and add them in. If you're not, I mean, nobody's really going to say chicken, right? It's going to be sauce or the noodles. but for like the sauce, basic Alfredo sauce is going to be cream and cheese, right? Like whole milk, cream and cheese, and maybe some garlic sneaks in there. There's options that you can do. There are pre-made. I mean, if you want to take it to the easiest way, you could get a packet and substitute a different milk for it. Substitute a different milk for it, kind of make a vegetarian one. So there are a lot more vegetarian options available. But making your own could be as easy as making a cashew-based sauce or making a cauliflower-based sauce. And I will promise you that it will stink up your kitchen. But if you boil cauliflower and some garlic, puree that, and add your nutritional yeast, you're going to get your cheesy flavor in there, and it's going to be delicious. Then you can season it up. Oh, and yes, I have another input here. She's absolutely right. You can substitute Italian pasta. A lot of people actually have issues with the process of making the noodles and all the wheat that we're throwing in there. And if you buy imported noodles, it's a whole different process.
Okay.
But yeah, so for the sauce, if you want lots of sauce, take half zucchini noodles. Try and make a sauce. If you don't like it, even start half of the cauliflower sauce and half of a regular Alfredo, because what you're doing is learning, right? Sometimes it feels like it's too much. And if it's too much, then you're not going to do it, or you're not going to enjoy it, or you're not going to eat it. So mix it up a little bit. It is an acquired taste to go from cream and cheese to nutritional yeast and cauliflower. I am aware of that.
Yeah, I wasn't ready for that suggestion. I was like, the what? The who?
Oh, but okay, so let's see here. A quarter cup of this is 60 calories. The B vitamins are out the wazoo. 8 grams of protein for that. There's no carbs. I'm sorry, there's a light amount of carbs. There's 2%. Half a gram of fat. And
you feel like it tastes like cheese.
Yeah, you can take it and put it on top of popcorn in this flake size. Or if you mix it in with the sauce, it's like, doo. Did you see that at all?
Okay. I might try it. Okay.
But this is great. So,
go ahead.
And then the other thing to challenge yourself to do is just find a vegetable that you can add into there, right? So if you're having a chicken Alfredo, throwing in a little broccoli with your sauce isn't going to kill anybody. Throwing in the zucchini noodles. So if you're looking at your checks, you've got protein, you've got a fiber, you've got a vegetable. And I know the world is against carbs, but a little bit of a carb is not going to kill you. So
what is the recommended amount of fiber? So I know, like, you were saying earlier, did you tell us what the amount of protein is? What most people usually try to get?
No, I didn't go into that. That's a little bit more on the nutritionist side, because it really does have to do how your body breaks it down. I like to go with the amount that's already been technically prescribed from a dietitian or a doctor to show you how to do it. What I was saying is, as a rule of thumb, if you're eating 5 meals a day, it's typically 3 ounces of protein. And for what we call meals, and then 1.5 for snacks. Okay. But protein comes in so many ways. If you're not a meat eater, there's amazing ways to have it. You have to be careful of some of the sweets and the protein bars and stuff. They're all have a donut bar, have a chocolate chip cookie bar, and is that your pup?
Yeah, somebody's parked outside the house, so they don't love it.
I stuck my out. I was like, you got to go out here.
I love subbing in spaghetti squash, especially for red sauces.
Mm-hmm.
My sister used to use spaghetti squash for spaghetti a lot, and I actually didn't mind it. It's not my favorite, mm-hmm. but I don't hate it. My brother actually made a really good ravioli with squash inside of it. That was really good.
Yeah, I think of it as a sweeter one, but it's always about flavor profile. You've got to try different things out. I remember, I think I did it to Ben actually, where I had red sauce and I was like, okay, which one do you like? I put it on green beans, I put it on zucchini noodles, and I put it on broccoli. And I just sat there. I was like, which one would you eat? And and we got kind of the order of it, but just learning, and trying. That's always a fun way. I mean,
Spectacular Family. I'm doing a master class with Sensei Spectacular right now. It's a week-long mastermind class or whatever, where you learn about social media and doing stuff like this. So you can always tell when they're in the comments with the stars, that's their little that's our little thing. So I love that. Hi. Okay, so other things that what else do people love? I'm gonna go with pizza. I love pizza. What is your pizza game?
Pizza game. If you're going for the real crust, go thin crust, get it on the toppings. There's really not a lot I can do with a deep dish lover. There's just not. For me, pizza's the cheese, right? So I like the outer aisle pizza crust that they make. There's also a trend that you could probably find on most TikToks right now where they're making the crust out of torn up chicken breast and cheese, which is
Oh,
similar.
the chicken breast where they make it. That's kind of like a keto recipe, right?
Sure.
Somebody said broccoli crust. I'm gonna say that might be nasty, but I did try cauliflower crust and I liked that.
And you have to still check for those because outer aisle is wonderful. It's just cauliflower, egg, and cheese. Some of them, you know, again, they get into these weird flours, and it's not really it's not a better substitution. But yeah, so if you're going high protein, the chicken and cheese where you bake the crust first and then you do that on top. But I love the outer aisle thin sauce, as many toppings as you want. And for me, like I said, it's the cheese. So I use the buffalo.
Like just a brand at Walmart or something, the outer aisle?
Outer aisle used to only be at Whole Foods, but I've seen it at HEB in Texas. I'm not sure. What's your big
place? Bougie. I'm just kidding. I'm like, can I get that at Wally World?
What's that?
I said, can I get that at Wally World?
I don't know, but I will happily find out for you. Wally World, you know, they actually have some decent organic, like they have a lot of vegetarian and low gluten-free options, and they're doing, so there is one brand, you know, because we can't always just make a food run, and the only thing you have to be careful with is the sodium, but this one brand of frozen dishes, it's called Real Good, or is it Feel Good? Oh man.
Real good. I actually tried their chicken nuggets the other day and they weren't bad.
Yeah.
They were good.
And they're doing pasta dishes like manicottis, and they do some enchiladas, and they're all made from that chicken and cheese pounded out. That they're
doing. He said he liked one of the crusts that you made for him. Is that what he said? What did you make for him? What kind?
The one I made. I love that. What's that? Doesn't narrow it down all the way. Yeah.
See, we're gonna get Ben on here too because we need to talk about sobriety. I'm gonna have all the peeps on here, all the Origins peeps.
Yeah. He might take over. I can say that because he's only in comments right now.
Right.
He asked me if I needed any help. I'm sure he would love to jump on here.
Jump on, anytime. I told him, like, I need you to come talk sobriety with me one day. He did say yes, though.
Okay, that's good. Now you have it on, you have proof, right? So you can do it.
I have an email saying you said you would come talk sobriety. And I got your kid's mom, which is like leverage, I feel like. We're best, so like, you gotta help me out then. Just kidding. Okay, so pizza, we like the chicken crust. That is actually a good one. I do have recipes for that. Speaking of recipes, do you have like a go-to? Well, you're a chef and you're a badass anyway, so I'm sure you just make shit up in your head. But do you have like a certain like search engine or place that you like to find a lot of your recipes at that are like healthy based, like a place that you find a lot of your recipes?
I guess a lot of things I make up, but there are things you have to check on, you know, just to see if it'll work, right? Like you just throw something in just to see if anyone's done it before. I always like to look up healthier when I search a recipe. So like if I want to make a lasagna, I would type in healthier lasagna, because if you go too healthy, you know, you kind of are going to find some interesting things. If you're looking for substitutes and ways to just kind of incorporate, you know, more vegetables or stuff, healthier is a great search in general. This is, I grabbed this just because we always see these at holiday times, well, all the time, but Forks Over Knives is a good like go-to for the store, like right when you're checking out and you're staring at Michael Jackson magazines and like started to do a lot. And that's one in the health starts here department that we work with. So I'm glad to see that. It was they did like a whole holiday spread, and some of them are a little bit too much. Dogs are crazy.
Didn't you tell me that your dog was going to be loud?
I put him at the neighbor's house because I knew he was going to do that.
You take them for me, Lee, because I'm on live. as my somebody said sub plain yogurt and your sour cream all the time. Oh, we talked about that earlier too.
Better. Yeah. Yeah. As Greek yogurt is amazing for protein for people who don't eat a lot of meat. We were talking about making it into a fruit dip. One, you just take the plain and add a little bit of vanilla and a little bit of like apple juice or orange juice, something, maybe honey, and just kind of use that for your berries and dip. Or you can go more of a substantial route. What were we saying? If you go to one of those places where they sell the spice packets and everything's like add mayonnaise and sour cream.
Right.
If you use that, maybe use a little less, probably sodium wazoo, but whatever. If you're substituting that for Greek yogurt, I mean, you can get all of those flavors, the ranch flavors, the buffalo flavors, all of those things.
And I told you the ranch one is my favorite. I've done that for long. Cucumbers, which I had to like force myself to like these healthy things because I mean I'm a fat girl at heart. It's really but I like cucumbers with the Greek yogurt and the ranch powder. I know somebody did tell me one time that it has like a lot of sodium in there. I don't care.
Yeah,
because like I feel healthier than
at yourself, honestly. Like you're making a substitution, and it's about stair stepping. There is no enlightenment at the end of the journey for being the most the healthiest person in the room, right? So I think that's great. I used to have a client at Origins who would run up to me and just be like, Cara, I ate a broccoli, and I swear for every color at a broccoli, she probably had like a fourth of a cup of like ranch with it. And I was so proud of her, because she was proud of herself, just making steps. And it's all about taking steps and getting there, and I saw that she posted something else the other day about food, and it just made me so proud.
Like dogs out. No, that's very true though. And it is a real thing that like, whatever your palate, as you get older, if you keep on trying things, even if they're not like your favorite, that you do actually kind of start to get used to them and like them a little more. Hey.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you start kind of cleansing out your diet, and your skin starts shining a little brighter, you want to do more for yourself. So that's again going back to the everything in moderation, including moderation. Like, don't blow your kitchen up trying to make a healthy version of Skittles. Like, go eat healthy and then let yourself have a couple. I think the more that we just take away from our diets, the more likely you are to have an implosion of like a day where you've been craving donuts for a minute and you try a donut protein bar, and then the next thing you know, like you have Krispy Kreme all over your face and you've eaten 6 or 12.
Right, you're hiding in the bathroom with all the donuts.
It's about the little changes. Get there, and trust me on some of them.
Right. Okay, so I told you like 45 minutes and like we're cutting it close, but this was actually super interesting. So whatever, I'm not letting you go yet.
I did touch on the kids thing. We talked about that a little.
Yes. So that's what I was going to ask you, that and weight gain and sobriety, like how to kind of do a little, I think in the beginning of sobriety, because you probably weren't eating much,
Sure.
You were more worried about this, things like that. In the beginning, you're going to eat your ass off, right? Because your body, so that's not what I'm talking about, just for the record. I'm not saying watch diet, like one thing at a time, right? One thing at a time. But like when you're in your earlier sobriety and you've, possibly gained weight and stuff like that, do you have any like tips around that? Because I know like sugar is like a real craving, right? When you're quitting substances, especially like alcohol. What's your tips and tricks around that?
Well, so this is where, I understand the concern of sugar with protein bars, but I would absolutely recommend trying to do some of the protein trade-offs. Quest does the nacho flavored chips, but they have protein in them. So you're giving your body a lot of one of the things that you're going to need, a lot of the things that your body's going to be craving require protein to start building back up. So if you're going to have something sweet, try for a sweeter, they have the brownie flavor, chocolate chip flavor protein bar. You're still getting that flavor. It's not as bad as just going for the muffin or whatever. Um, I think that those are really good swaps for it. They make a lot of them with good sugars. They make ones that are just kind of nut and caramel based that are keto style that could be a pain, you know. They make Pop-Tart protein ones. The Impossible brand makes a strawberry Pop-Tart. It's crazy, but it's good. Um,
Like a raspberry cheesecake one.
yeah.
That's really good. He likes that one. And he says getting like a smaller bag, you know, like the bite-sized bag instead of getting, you know, the whole bag of chips would be help you to eat less, right? That's a good one
Or
too.
get the big bag, just take it home and put them in the snack size, you know, just, I don't know what, if it's savings wise, it might be cheaper to do that at home anyway, but just that way you're not eyeballing the whole thing. And once again, grab and go, right? You see a little bit of chip and you just grab that and out the door. There's no room, there's no wiggle room, right? There's no licking the crumbs off the bottom of the the big bag. Those don't count.
Right? They don't count at all. No.
With leftovers as well. So if you are cooking, double down in your batches too. That's another good, like, healthy meal planning way to go. If you're making a big pot of chili, double it up, because there's nothing better than a cold front blowing through and knowing that you have chili frozen ready to go. When you were talking about going out to eat and having leftovers, you know, we were talking about your natural instinct to, like, not let your husband have them. That fight or flight, right? Your body's, you're scared you might kill tomorrow.
So some of you guys that don't know, let you in on this, our little funny secret here. So I had the gastric sleeve like 3 years ago. And so I can't eat very much at a time. So whenever me and my husband would go out to eat at a restaurant, I will eat like a few bites and then I will take my leftovers and he will always steal my leftovers. And I'm like, dude, don't touch my shit. Why do you eat all my food? And he's like, you're never gonna eat it. Like, you always just leave this stuff in the fridge. You don't touch it. And I'm like, but it's mine. Like, somehow I feel like I'm gonna eat it, but I'm never going to eat it.
Yeah.
The thing, right? But Cara suggested putting it in little, like, see-through Tupperwares so that you can actually warm up a little bit at a time and you're not like wasting it. And that was really good, because I think once it's in the styrofoam and it's like in the dungeon of the fridge, it's like done, you know.
That's right. Just 3 bites. I'm going to call it a cruise bite. I guess we say what we want here. I'm kind of learning that. I drive by. You look at the fridge, you have a fork, you know, what am I going to have just a little bit of? So, yeah, you can do like a little quick drive by. You see it, you want some Alfredo, get you some. Just a little bit.
A little teeny bit.
Yeah, like,
Okay, the other thing, go ahead.
no, I said keep your husband away from it.
So the other thing that we had touched on was getting your teenagers and even like your husband, your wife, whoever in the house, like when you're cooking or you're grocery shopping, meal prepping, how do you make it so that you don't necessarily have to like cook your own food and then cook their own food? Because that, it gets to be too much, even like taking care of yourself, right? Let alone 17 different meals for everybody. Now I have a 17-year-old who's like, she gonna come home with the box of donuts and that's what she wants to eat, or like she has certain meals that are her favorite and that's it, right? So it's hard to get new things in her. So what's your tips around that? I know you have young sons and they got to be picky. Are they picky?
Well, yeah, you know, I started off, of course, anyone who knows me knew I would do this. I was making their own baby food. They were eating salmon and
I was going to say, are they picky or are they yours so they eat all that?
They're picky now. It takes one birthday party and one trip to McDonald's to ruin all of the hard work that you put into it, you know? So I don't even believe me that they ever ate salmon before. But I remember before I had kids, I used to think, you can do this. It's so easy. And I didn't give moms enough credit. And so for that, I am very sorry, moms. It is difficult. And Ben's on here, he likes McDonald's. So it would be, it's a lot easier. Sometimes you're tired, you're on your feet, you know, just to be like, okay, give me 3 fries, and you over there, give me 1 bite of mac and cheese, because then you don't have to make anything. But if you really want to stay on top of it, one of the best ways is to get your kids involved. Like, I didn't come up with this, but I love this idea, is a pizza garden. I love gardening, and Max used to go outside with me, and I couldn't bring any tomatoes in. That child would eat every single tomato I would have. I had to start bringing a colander and a bowl outside.
Tomatoes.
What's that?
I love tomatoes.
Well, and on the vine, they're so much better. And he would just sit there and pop them out. So we'd have a little pizza garden, and it would have oregano and basil and tomato, and we'd pick those and then put them on. And the more involved they are, they're so proud of what they can create.
Right.
And, sit by the oven and, is it done yet? Is it done yet? And they get excited. I think it's a wonderful gift to give your kids like the chance to cook with you. My boys have some cooking stuff that they're getting for Christmas, like rolling pins and stuff. They love cracking eggs. They love doing things. And then it's funny, sometimes we'll sit down and we've made all these beautiful things and they're like, well, I don't want to eat it. And I had a therapist tell me before to really not fight your kids about food. It can lead to eating disorders and such, but trying to get them involved at a young age in some of it. And then when they're older, I think you could still get her involved. You could like challenge her to make a donut flavored trail mix or something creative, what I mean? Like what?
The personal
What's that? Say again.
Somebody said the personal pizzas, healthy personal pizzas, so that kind of goes along with your pizza garden thing. That's kind of cool.
Right. Yeah, and the outer aisle makes those little small ones too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think, and I do some of the sneaky stuff with kids, but I feel a little weird about it. And that I don't want them like looking under every time, under every piece of lettuce to see if I put something in there that they don't want to know about. So yeah, a big part is as 17 is a hard one because her tastes are probably going to change, but maybe they don't. There's a lot of people who just don't eat anything different, but getting her involved. What did you say? You said she has a couple of favorite meals. Like what's one?
So her favorite meals are spaghetti, chili, and chicken wings in the crock pot. So not like the fried chicken wings, but like you do the buffalo sauce in the crock pot or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Just bake them and put them in the crock pot. She loves those. She does like Caesar salad. That's healthy.
Well, spaghetti and chili, I mean, those flavors and those spices can hide a lot of vegetables in them too. I think I would challenge her to try some of the zucchini noodles, but you can also use a leaner meat. Turkey goes really well because I feel like turkey, and then if you're super adventurous getting into some of the gamier meats, the best way to cook axis or like ground meat like that, or
Upper Peninsula in Michigan, which is like redneck city. So like we do venison here, and I'm not much of a redneck, but I do love me some venison. So like I can get down with that. And then turkey, like ground turkey or whatever, ground chicken. I use that for I would do like taco wraps with lettuce, and that is something that I love.
Yeah, I love wrapping